I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for about a year now, and in a game with so much content to do, it can be a little overwhelming, so I thought I'd talk about my favorite type of content. Keep in mind, these are in no particular order. First up, we have Trials. I really like Trials, mainly because they're a more relaxed version of Savage Raids, and not to mention this particular type of content usually drops mounts, or at least allows you the chance to purchase mounts with totems. Trials also have some of my favorite fights in the whole game, like Rathalos. But I am biased because I only really started playing this game because of the Monster Hunter World crossover. But some other Trials I really enjoyed were Diamond Weapon, Heidelin, Suzaku, just to name a few. Next up, we have Relic Weapons. Now, it's no secret that the Glam is the real end game of Final Fantasy XIV, and that is what Relic Weapons are. Some of them are the most unique and best looking weapons for jobs. They also are a bit of a grind, but most of them, save for the Zodiac relic, aren't too bad. For example, the Eureka relics I managed to do in 3 6-hour sessions of nothing but Eureka. Anima can be done in a few hours if you are prepped with tomes and Grand Company seals, and Resistance Relic can be done within a few days, maybe less. I haven't really done a Shadowbringer Relic since Endwalker came out, mainly because I made like 7 last tier and burned myself out on them. Also, we don't talk about Zodiac Relics. They're the reason I hate books. Anyway, a few of my favorite relics are the Anima Paladin, Eureka Machinist, Eureka Ninja, Anima and Eureka Dark Knight, and Anima Astro. I remember when I initially started playing 14, I was set on quitting after I got the Rathalos mount, but somehow I got roped into Savage Raiding, starting with E9S and went on to get carried into E10S and E11S. But because I wasn't very good yet at understanding how mechanics work and doing my rotation comfortably, I generally strayed away from them. However, once Endwalker dropped, that all changed, as I felt like I grew as a player and could more easily do Savage Raids without needing callouts constantly, and without worrying about being the weakest link in the party. At the start of a tier, I had learned and cleared P2S and P3S basically on my own, which I think was good for me because it made me grow as a raider. It made me really realize if I knew my shit or not. Clearing Savage fights is also a high that is unlike any trial, dungeon, or alliance raid, especially if you had struggled with it. Some of my favorite Savage fights are E9S, O12S, O4S, P2S, and P3S. Now, I mentioned earlier that everyone knows that Glam is the real endgame of 14, and that's true. Glam farming can consist of many different things: dungeon spam for a specific armor piece you want, trial farming for material to make a weapon you want, relic grind for a unique weapon, savage fights for the gear set, PvP for those sets, Eureka for specific armor to that content, and the list goes on and on. So I can't really list my favorite glams like I did in prior categories, but I can link some of my favorite glams I've made on Eorzea collection in the description below. So if you want to see some of my favorite looks, they will be down there and quickly flashed on screen here. Okay, so I will admit this entry may have a bit of recency bias, as it is content that I semi-recently did and grinded out a bunch. But the last type of content I enjoy in this game is actually Eureka. I know that may be divisive to some, but I actually really enjoyed my time in Eureka. At first, it was grueling and intimidating because I wasn't sure what I was doing, but after some research and watching guides on it, I was able to catch on pretty quick. Eureka is kind of like a mini MMO experience inside another larger MMO. It has its own storyline, its own unique leveling to that area, and its own unique rewards. those being the cool relics and armor you can get in there. And I guess unique mounts and minions from gold chests from bunnies, but I never did bunny fates because they were always camped by bots. My favorite things that come out of Eureka are the T-Rex mount, the elemental armor of fending / maiming, the demi-osma mount, and the uniqueness of the experience. I personally also thought it was handled a lot better than Baja. And yeah, those are my 5 things that I enjoy content-wise in Final Fantasy XIV. So, you know, if anyone else enjoys this type of content, or, you know, has any other questions about doing these types of content, go ahead and leave a message down below and I'll get back to you and try to answer any questions you may have. Anyway, take care.